Hello folks, this is your boy Quan here, and today I figured I'd give you my 2 cents on two movies that I recently saw. One that I saw like pretty much a while back but forgot to give a proper review to. And that first one was Shelby Oaks. Shelby Oaks, if you don't know, is getting a lot of attention because it is made by a famous YouTuber, popular YouTuber known as Chris Stuckman. You know, if you remember the phrase like, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized, then that's pretty much the same guy who's made Shelby Oaks, who put all of his time in there. And from what I remember from the movie, I do want to say that I did like it. I do want to say it is a good step in the direction of the movies that he might be doing. Of course, there's also a lot of criticism that a lot of people are not being honest with the reviews. Look, I don't want to say we're being honest about the reviews. I want to say that, some people may be a little bit nicer to it because, in the history that he's been doing movies, he's kind of turned a new leaf of going from like, okay, I'm going to do movie reviews, so I'm going to do movie reviews on things that I really, really like or really do appreciate. I try my best to not do, a mean review, which I want to say that probably might be the same thing that he's encouraging, which it kind of, when you know that background, you kind of want to go with the same lens. Now, yes, there are a little bit of things that's, a lot of elements that didn't have to be added into the movie. And then, of course, there was like certain things that it did seem a little bit off. However, I thought overall it was a good movie. It was a good attempt on him. And as usual, it should be known as not only just like how, great of a direction he's going into, but to keep in mind that, it's something to aspire to, that, the one person that will watch his movie or the multiple people that will watch his movie, that'll be like, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. And I think that's pretty much the basis of that movie in general. So let's keep those in mind. The second movie, I talked about that. And by the way, I'm sorry about that tangent, but sometimes I have a horror tangent going on, is the Predator's Badlands. There's another movie that's getting a lot of attention, both in a good and bad way. So, all in all, I really did like the movie. I like the expansion of the world of the Predator in certain cases. How, brutal being a Yautja is in a way. And I like the movie, had very good action scenes, had very good sympathetic scenes. And on top of that, I wanted to also, go about, how where the movie, in a way, is not a traditional Predator movie. And I say not a traditional Predator movies because if you know about the first one, the second one, even Prey, the traditional Predator movie, even Killers of Killers kind of goes in that subplot is the perfect alien hunter trying to go for, a awesome specimen, a challenging specimen. And of course, in Predator Badlands, he is trying to go for, a perfect specimen, but you also see, some of the drama, some of the emotions that he has to go through in order to attain those things. Now, don't get me wrong. To understand that culture, to understand certain things, you also have to go with how, that certain person being in that culture feels about certain things, including when, of course, they're known as the weakest of the Yautja. And he has to come up with certain things. But to keep the balance, I want to say that I liked the movie. It was very fun. I can definitely see where a lot of people said that it was definitely in a way Disney-fied when you think about it, because it has that, has a companion feel, has an interesting creature feel that tags along, that does like all the funny, plucky stuff that kind of, breaks the serious tonality of it all. But what I will say is I thought it was a good movie. But on top of that, and I realize I said but a lot, that is not a traditional Predator movie, which is not a bad thing. This can go into certain direction to where it will go, what I would think, in the direction of where it started off in Predator Badlands, and then we've come to find out that he becomes one of the baddest, in a good way, predators that we know, that actually starts to hunt other kinds of challenging prey, and maybe even comes back to Earth and tries to like check out how Earth is doing and whatnot, and starts hunting them. We don't know how this could turn. I mean, we all remember pretty much how, I guess, how Star Wars went, to where it went from, the first few movies we saw, we were just like, ooh, Darth Vader is like an interesting guy. And then we saw the 3 prequels, was just like, oh, okay, we're from this, I'm thinking, in a weird sense, especially if how the creators of Predator Badlands, they can like take it in that direction, to where we see how, I guess, this predator, even though he turns out to be not a typical, not traditional predator, can go from, okay, he seems like he might be a little bit different of a predator, to like, oh, he becomes the worst, the most evil predator that we know, because of what he knows, because of what he's learned. And that can be an interesting arc, always have that interesting perspective, hope in a way. Anyway, that's my 2 movies. I kind of blabbed on a lot. If you like this, please like, share, subscribe. I kind of do this every once in a while, especially showing my horror junkie side, because I am definitely a big fan of horror in general. Keep that in mind. Deuces.